We don't need a lot of fancy grammar， 文法没有很重要的，可以用很简单的句子对。But there were problems solved. 有什么问题？ If you're talking about dogs and cats in Chinese, or if you're talking about them in English, what would be different? Words. In Chinese you have more words. Okay, what kind of words? Words for what? But it's just dogs and cats. 需要什么字？大的狗，小的狗，黑色、黄色。What else would you want to say about them that you don't have words for in English? You were talking about where you got your dog. So, there are different ways you can get an animal. You can buy a dog at the dog store, right, the pet store. But there are a lot of people who think it's not a good idea to buy a dog, right? Taiwan has a lot of dogs that don't have a home. So, instead of paying for more dogs, we should find a home for dogs that are in the mountains or on the roads. So we use this word adopt. It's the same word we use for children. If there are children who don't have parents, and I have some friends who they're married, but they can't have children. They tried, but they couldn't have their own babies. So they adopted a baby, right? We use this word for that. Adopt, you can, what's the other word for that? I forget the word I was going to use, but we can talk about where you would find the animal, where you adopt it from. So, we often talk about an animal shelter, okay? A shelter is just a place where people or animals can be safe. But if we talk about the animal shelter, then what this means, these two words together are that place where animals like dogs go until somebody takes them home, or until the animal dies. Usually, in a place like this, the government doesn't have a lot of money, right? So some people who work there, they don't get any money to work there. Usually there are too many dogs. There's too many. So the dog will live here for maybe 2 weeks, and then they will kill the dog. There's too many. So the dog can either go back on the street, he can go back into the hill and into the mountains, and he can starve, right? Very slow die, he dies because he doesn't have enough food. Or, at the animal shelter, they take care of him, and then they kill him, but they kill him in a way that doesn't hurt. So even for that, we have special words. We say, we don't just kill the dog, we put him to sleep. Okay? So that's what this talks about. It's this place where they keep these animals so that they're not running around on the roads. But even if you don't have these words, you can talk about it, like I just did, right? There's a place. When a dog doesn't have a home, and the dog is on the road, on the street, and the dog has no food, some people come, and the people take the dog to a place where the dog can be safe. But there are too many dogs. So after some time, if nobody takes the dog home, then the people there have to kill the dog. All right? So all of the things that you want to say in Chinese, you can say in English. It might take more time. Maybe you have to try more. 中文可以用一个字、两个字就好。英文需要比较长的句子，需要多一点脏话。Right? You have to say more. But with practice, you can do it. So some ideas like this, the words are not easy to remember. You won't use them a lot. So if you don't really know them, you will forget. But you can talk about the idea. So there's this kind of word, 较难的字，较难用的，比较难记的字. But there are other words where you could use them, like every food in Taiwan is delicious, right? Every food. If I go to the night market and I see my students, teacher, try this, it's delicious, right? If I go to the restaurant, it's delicious, right? Don't you have other words besides delicious? 每个台湾人会说 delicious. 有可能发音不好 delicious, teacher delicious, right? 可是每个台湾人知道这个字 delicious. 没有不同的字吗？ Yummy, yeah, there's one, right? It's maybe not a very fancy word, but it works, right? It tastes good. It's good. It's really good. It's super good. It's awesome. Okay, right? There's a lot of other words you could use. Well, same thing, right? So if there's an idea you talk about a lot, like food, then it's a chance you have to use more words. It doesn't help you to learn words if you don't use them, right? 会学新的词，可是没有用的，很快会忘记。所以需要用的 dog. Other words for dog. 小狗。Puppy, okay. How's mom? How about dogs, cats, hamster, fish? All of those animals, what kind of animal are they? We have the word animal, donglu, it means everything, right? But if it's an animal that you take into your house and you feed it and you pet it and you love it, What do we call that kind of animal? Pets, right? So there's a word you can try to remember because it's one that you can use, right? So if we talk about the store where we buy animals, we usually call it a pet store because not all animals are pets, right? So we have pets. What else? If we want to talk about these animals, what are some other words we can use?不一定是动物的意思，有可能是不同的字可以用。Other words you can use for the animal that you love. Baby, yeah, why not? A lot of people treat their pets as their babies, sure, yeah. Have some. Good guys, okay. Guy has a girl. A lot of people use those, especially when we say little, right? Because animals are usually smaller, pets are smaller. How small? Oh, sister, that's a new one for me. Okay. But in Taiwan, 可以她叫妹妹, sure, why not, right? In English, we don't usually use brother and sister for our pets. But we do sometimes call them children or kids. Sometimes. What else though? It's not just about family. If you have a dog and you tell your dog everything, and you go places with your dog, and when you feel sad, your dog helps you to feel better, then your dog is your best friend, yeah, right? So, all of these ideas we can use if we want to talk about our dog, our cat, our hamster, right? So, it's all about thinking of other ways to say these ideas. Now, if we can talk about the animal, then what else do we want to be able to say? Important words for pets would be what the animal is. It's my dog, it's my cat, it's my friend, my little sister, right? What does he do? What words do we want to be able to use when we're talking about pets? What do you do with your pet? I mean, you can see your pet, right? You can talk to your pet. Those words you know. What about other words that maybe you know the word, but you wouldn't use it? Does your dog ever sing?